My, oh my. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this side of heaven. God bless you all. I think I speak for many that we witness one of the greatest fights that we ever seen in this modern day era in the sport of boxing this past weekend in London, England, that showcased Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. In an epic war, epic battle, testament of testicular fortitude and mental fortitude, hard determination, grit, the sweet signs, everything was on display this past weekend in London, England. And I know that we would love to experience and witness that again and feel that emotion, to be in the same type of frequency as that what transpired in that ring. Because I do believe that boxing translates to life itself. And it was just more than just technique, especially in the championship rounds. Man, it was all spirit. And I think it touched a lot of people. But as much as I want to see that again and feel that again, no rematch. No rematch, no time soon. Now, I understand that there was a contract or a term that was signed prior to their first bout. But ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be no rematch. I don't think that Conor Benn's team will want the rematch. I think that Conor Benn, especially not this time, maybe in a year, maybe a year and a half, maybe Conor Benn now is the opportunity for him to make his mark. Now, this fight this past weekend, he was fighting for the name. But it's time for him to fight for his legacy. His legacy. I think it's time for him to go for a world title. I think it's time for Chris Eubank Jr. to win a world title. He's been in boxing way longer than Conor Benn. I think it's up. And it's time for Chris Eubank Jr. to get the opportunity to win that world title. And I think that Conor Benn should go after a world title in the 147-pound division or in the 154. And that's the only reason I just don't want to see it now, because I want, before they do retire and get at the type of money that makes them feel like, we don't got to even fight no more. But I want them to carve their own legacy just like their fathers did. Shout out to Nigel Benn. Shout out to Chris Eubank Sr. What a wonderful, wonderful fathers they are in grooming, molding, building the sons and warriors and gladiators that we witnessed this past Saturday. Chris Eubank Jr., as he was the victorious one. Unanimous decision victory. All scorecards, 116, 112, just like I had it. If y'all tuned into Punch Run Boxing live commentary, y'all already know I'm high octane, one of the best in the business. We go blow for blow, punch for punch. We count everything, and that was my scorecard, 116, 112. Could have been 115, 113, but 116, 112, that was my perfect score. Chris Eubank Jr. won. Chris Eubank Jr. now, I'm calling him the king of British boxing. Yes, I said it. I know there's champions out there like Danny Dubois, who's going to be facing Alexander Usyk. There's still Anthony Joshua there. There's Tyson Fury there. Yet right now, as we speak right now, in the present time, Chris Eubank Jr. is the king of British boxing. And we all know that the cash cow, the face of boxing, is Canelo Alvarez. And Chris Eubank Jr. is in the greatest position he's ever been in any time of his career. Turki Alalshikh did say prior to the fight with Conor Benn that the winner will get an opportunity to fight Canelo Alvarez.
The fight you should be looking for is a Chris Eubank Jr. against a Canelo.
Then there's terms that have been agreed upon that he's going to be facing Terence Bud Crawford in September. But ladies and gentlemen, do y'all want to see a packed packed stadium of almost 100,000 people in attendance and millions watching over the world. Canelo Alvarez, a dream of his is to fight in Wembley Stadium. And we got the perfect opponent, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah, Chris Eubank Jr. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Canelo Alvarez will be one of the most epic events in the history of the sport of boxing. I wish I could have get Chris Eubank Jr. and Canelo rather than the Bud Crawford fight. Not throwing shades at Bud Crawford. Bud Crawford, one of the greatest to ever lace them up. 4-division world champion, 2-division undisputed, but he's moving up. 3-division up to face Canelo Alvarez. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, nah, but he came from the 154-pound division because he beat Majormal. But we all know that wasn't pound for pound performance or quality from Bud Crawford. And then to move up to face the king in the 168-pound division, King Nello, a.k.a. Cartelo, a.k.a. Cash Nello, a.k.a. Payday, a.k.a. get the fuck out of here, man. Nah. This is the perfect opportunity right here for Chris Eubank Jr. to make his mark. To make his mark, ladies and gentlemen. Because I'm going to tell you like this, if he shows that grit, determination, the testicular fortitude and mental fortitude, that type of cojones that he displayed versus Conor Benn, and he does it with Canelo Alvarez, win, lose, or draw. But you go and display that type of courage for 12 rounds, blow for blow, toe to toe. Man. That's undisputed right there. This is Chris Eubank Jr. opportunity. Canelo Alvarez, Chris Eubank Jr. will sell out an arena. As a matter of fact, damn, you got to add some seats in that Wembley Stadium for Canelo Alvarez and Eubank Jr. And the reason why I'm saying it to happen very, very soon, I believe Canelo Alvarez fight Bud Crawford. Canelo Alvarez is going to beat Bud Crawford February 2026. Or maybe, let me see, they fight in September, maybe a December fight. Yo, this will be an incredible, well, it got to be in the summer, right? Or I think so, whatever. But it's going to be an incredible evening, an incredible event. And I think this is the best opportunity for Canelo Alvarez to fight at Wembley Stadium with the best possible opponent that he can. And then for Chris Eubank Jr., who is in his house, who is right now, everybody is invested in Chris Eubank Jr. right now. And also in Conor Benn. But we're talking about Chris Eubank Jr. and Canelo Alvarez, Conor Benn. I believe, can you imagine? Put it this way. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Canelo Alvarez. And in the co-main event, we got Conor Benn versus Vergil Ortiz. Wow. In 154. The ruthless of Vergil Ortiz, the ruthless of Conor Benn, the heart and cojones of Canelo Alvarez, and the heart and cojones of Chris Eubank Jr. And they both the same age. Oh my Lord. Let's make it happen, Turki Alalshikh. See, I'm going to tell you like this, man. There's greater matchups in the sport of boxing that we get. Look, of course, we want to see Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez as well. But I think that Canelo Alvarez in the position that he's in right now, that he wants to accomplish and maximize other things in the sport of boxing. Wembley Stadium, Junior, Canelo, Vergil Ortiz, Conor Benn. Make it happen. Let's make it happen. Let me know what y'all think, man. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. Love you, God bless. And on to the next.